Hey folks, James Green here with ActualTech Media. You're watching ActualTech Media's briefing breakdown, and I'm super excited for this show today. It's a fun thing we started doing. Scott, who's joining me on the show today, and myself take a lot of briefings from IT vendors, and we had this idea, wouldn't it be fun if the ActualTech Media audience could be a fly on the wall while we do that, and if we could start to source some questions from the audience and ask those as we're doing the briefing. So that's what we've created here in the briefing breakdown. Today we've got a special guest who I've been briefed by a handful of times in the past and has some really interesting technology here that I can personally sympathize with why people need this so bad. So that makes it an especially fun conversation for me. So before we dig into it, I want to introduce our guests and then we'll get right into the briefing. So first of all, Scott Lowe, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Scott Lowe. I'm with ActualTech Media, and happy to have everybody here today.
Cool. And then our guest, Jayden, do you want to quickly introduce yourself to the audience before we start?
Yeah, sure. So, Jayden Bartram, I'm the CEO of Movebot, powered by Couchdrop, or also the CEO of Couchdrop too, I guess you could say.
Cool. And so today we're going to be talking about Movebot. And before we flip into the slides and really get rolling on the briefing, why don't you just give us kind of the 10,000 foot view? What problem are you trying to tackle? And, give us a little background on the company before we start.
Yeah, sure. So I guess Movebot, as in essence, is just a simple tool to migrate people between cloud storage or to cloud storage from on-premise storage. It kind of came about out of a sub-product we had within Couchdrop, and we kind of rebranded it as Movebot earlier this year, March, just to try and help cloud storage migrations be accessible to the entire population, not just the low end or the high end where they're previously catered for.
So for context, what does Couchdrop do?
So Couchdrop's basically a cloud SFTP server. All you do is you can connect your own cloud storage, SharePoint, Ignite, Box, or your S3 styled storage, and you can turn it into an SFTP server. Think of it like a virtual file system for the cloud. It has also got a SCP rsync and API, so you can do programmatic capability with that kind of carry on. But yeah,
so you guys were already working on cool functionality across clouds, dealing with files, and so it made sense to build this service that would help people move files around, especially because it sounds simple. Like if you imagine copying a file from one folder on your computer to another, pretty straightforward. In reality, doing that, especially across clouds, is nowhere near that simple, and we're going to get into that. So why don't we go ahead and flip over to the briefing, and you can start setting the stage for us here.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So we kind of already covered a bit of this about the introduction of Movebot and where it kind of came from. I guess one thing to note is that we basically want to make cloud storage accessible, and that's kind of our whole product suite. We've got a few more things up our sleeve coming out to make cloud storage accessible, whether it's object storage or the likes of collaboration with Box or Dropbox's kind of storage options. But basically, Movebot was definitely built to make cloud storage migration accessible to the entire market, not just the low end and the high end, and it's a simple self-service tool.
So going into low end and if it's the middle that's underserved, why are the low end and the high end the ones that are already taken care of?
Well, it's quite interesting. The low end, the way we say, is the consumer market, and that on its own, it's kind of a many to little kind of ratio. So you've got a lot of customers out there potentially, but they're not exactly easy to get a hold of because migration is something that you do once in a blue moon. It's quite hard to target. And then on the high end, you've got companies that are charging $1 per gigabyte, so $1,000 a terabyte to migrate your data, which is just ridiculous. And that outweighs sometimes the subscription cost of your cloud storage provider itself.
Wow. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I guess you kind of look at it too, that quite often the small to medium enterprise or the medium size of the market is always there's always a void there, right? No one really targets that market because it's kind of the hybrid. Everyone wants the big customers, or people want the little customers. No one actually wants the middle guys. So that's what we're doing with Fighting for Fair.
Great. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. So the challenges that were out there prior to Movebot, and we've tried to solve along the way, or that we have actually solved, to be honest, is that the other solutions out there are slow. They do rate limiting because they're so cheap that they've got a rate limit so that they don't obviously overdo their quota and then cost themselves a lot of money. They're unreliable. So there's tools out there that actually corrupt data when they migrate, which isn't, given the world that we are, where data is the new currency, you don't really want to corrupt it. They're insecure. People don't know where their data is going, where it's going through, where the company's hosted. They're expensive, as I've alluded to. They're $1 per gig, if not more. And they're complex. So you can't just sign up and use some of them. You've got to talk to the sales guy. You've got to go through the process. You've got to get the professional services team. You've got to install software. It's just, you've got this entire journey, which in this day and age with the cloud, you just shouldn't need to install software, for example.
Let me kind of get more depth on the unreliable and insecure piece here. So what causes a corruption when you're migrating from one storage area to the next, to one platform to another platform with some of the tools that are on the market right now?
I won't give it into any of the tools, but I guess with some of them, basically, when you're transferring a file, they may not transfer the entire file, so it's kind of left half the file there, or they may have been transferring it, then they had their own infrastructure problems, or the software may have failed, or it's kind of partially through the transfer. And in regards to unreliability, we've had a lot of service providers come to us, and they had a month or 3 months to do a migration, and they had this tool, they budgeted for it, they started working with it, and then 2 weeks in, the tool wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So now the timeline, maybe even closer, maybe 2 months in, the timeline that they had, 3 months, is now a month, and now they've got to get this data there. So that's where we kind of can help out, because we're also we are fast. We can get the data there in no time at all. I think this customer had 15 terabytes, and we did it in, 48 hours to get across, whereas the previous company they were using, or the tool, they needed about 3 months to try and get it across. So we kind of just take that pressure out of the situation.
And on the security front, I kind of get that. I hadn't considered that actually until you mentioned it, is if you're using someone's tool, the potential is that they're using their own systems to be the intermediary between platforms. And if you don't know what their infrastructure looks like, you could potentially be exposing pretty serious corporate secrets or things that shouldn't be out there. And it could be a compliance issue as well, right?
Oh, definitely. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, we sign NDAs, we're HIPAA compliant. We really work within these frameworks. I mean, Couchdrop itself is catered for the healthcare and finance company with the SFTP server. Whereas, so considering Movebot's built on that architecture, we're working with sensitive data anyway. So with Movebot, we can still kind of continue that. And with the face of the company, you talk to a real human, and you kind of know where we're based, and you also know where our compute nodes are hosted. In fact, you can actually choose where your migrations run from. But we can cover more in our security side of things a bit later on, but definitely.
Being able to choose where your migration comes from, does that help you address data sovereignty issues and things like that?
Exactly. And also, not only data sovereignty, but you've also got people moving from on-premise to the cloud. So if we're hosting infrastructure in Europe, it's not going to be any good to anyone in the US, because the latency is just going to impact the time to migrate. So the fact that you can change it to New York or Toronto and run your migration closer to home just streamlines the process for everyone.
Got it.
Is the key to handling the unreliability thing basically just doing checksumming along the way and on the far end, and just basically validating that the thing was completed correctly?
Yeah, so I guess unreliability works in a few ways. Not only is it the file itself, the corruption. So we basically do checksumming. So the interesting thing, so I'm not the most technical one out of our teams, but I do know that every cloud storage provider often uses different checksum technology. So we've basically had to then translate that into, a common checksum, and then we check it on the source and destination using the algorithm that we choose to use. So I can't go into too much detail on that one, but basically we checksum at the source and then again at the destination to make sure that the files do match up. But then you've also got, you've got to make sure that, you've got access to humans that can help you if you need it. Unreliability, sure, as we all know in technology, nothing goes to plan. You could give yourself a year to do something, and it'll go fine up until the last week, and something will go wrong. Given you need to talk to someone with your data, we're here to help. I mean, we often have a joke that you're moving with humans, hence the Movebot, the robots and the humans. So we're actually accessible, and I mean, because we're a bunch of Kiwis located in New Zealand, we're friendly.
I don't know.
That's right.
If something you can speak to later on or not, but one of the other things with reliability is being able to like recover or resume a job that's failed. When you're, especially if you're working on a tight timeline, if you get halfway through moving a terabyte file and then it bombs and you have to go all the way to the beginning and start again, that stinks. And I'm sure it's a really hard problem to solve, but it would be nice if you could kind of pick up where you left off and finish off that transfer.
Yeah, well, I guess talking to that, and we can go into this a bit later as well. We can cover it now, but every cloud storage provider has kind of got their limitations, right? They rate limit or they don't allow certain file types. And I mean, those we can kind of work with, but often not the rate limiting. It hurts. You might do a migration with us and it might be, 100,000 files. And at the end of it, 1,000 files may fail, which, it's not a bad statistic overall. However, what you can do is you can actually just rerun the failures. That's not a problem. So we can actually move those failed files easy. And I guess around the governance and around that kind of stuff is that we provide full audit logs, transaction logs, failed file logs. You get full visibility with graphs and reports. We just give you everything you need so that you know what's happened. And if you're really into the tech and love your head in the weeds, you can actually follow you can tail the logs of the actual compute server as it's working. So you can see what's happening at what point in time. So we give you full transparency of your data moving at any time.
Very cool.
It seems like there's more than just the files, right? I mean, with lower end solutions, you could essentially drag and drop files between, I'm just going to use consumer tools, Dropbox and OneDrive. It's not the greatest way to do it, but you're going to lose permission structures. You're going to lose that metadata. Are you bringing everything?
Definitely, yeah. It depends on who the platforms are. So Box and SharePoint are only real ones that have good metadata that a lot of people actually care about. No one else really has that metadata, but when it comes to file versions and permissions, we can definitely do that. Whether it's sharing permissions or just general file access permissions, we can bring those across. We make the whole process just basically our goal is to make it simple for you. Whoever you are, whether you're not technical, you're a teacher at a school changing schools next week and you want to move your data, or whether you're a big corporation moving 40,000 people, you can do it with us. We're scalable and we just bring everything with you. It's the full shebang, as we'd say.
Cool. Let's go ahead and carry on. We're never going to get through all the slides at this rate.
So I just kind of want to touch on like some reasons why some companies move, or kind of the ones that we've kind of encountered over time. So recently it's been a cost-cutting exercise. So a lot of people have been going from one platform to another because every business has either got a Microsoft or a Google backend, whether it's the G Suite for the Docs or Microsoft. So, and with that, you often get OneDrive or SharePoint or Google Drive. So we've seen a lot of companies moving there recently. I think given the climate of COVID, it's a good cost-cutting exercise to get people over there. Other reasons we see people moving is consolidation, whether it's a merger and acquisition or it's internal business units. So often, within a company, the marketing team might be using Dropbox and then the business team's already using SharePoint and they don't understand why they're paying for two solutions. So they force everyone to consolidate into one solution. Other ones is feature-rich platform where you've got governance and security. So Box is really good for that. Where basically they are quite good with their reporting and the governance and the security side of things. They really pride themselves on that. And then also accessible data and collaboration. So that's people moving from on-premise infrastructure to the cloud. It's just making it accessible. It's saying so it's kind of working along with the remote workforce or the whole digital workspace environment we're kind of delving into. So kind of going into Movebot now as a whole, these are basically the four things that we pride ourselves on: is that we're secure, we're fast, we're cost effective, and it's simple. That's it. Like there's one thing we do and one thing well, and that's migrations. We don't try and do, we're not the Swiss Army knife of the cloud in this way. So we have separate products doing separate things because that's how you get quality. If you try and do too much, then your quality gets lost and people get confused. So we do Movebot, and that's one thing well, and that's migrate people between clouds. So kind of touching on the platforms that we support. So originally we built ourselves for object storage migrations. So that's the likes of S3 to Wasabi or Backblaze, Azure, GCP, or basically anything that's S3 compliant. But then over time, we already had the infrastructure in place for the Dropboxes in the box based on our Couchdrop offering. So we've kind of opened ourselves up there. And we've kind of gone down the direction of enterprise migrations because, as I alluded to, the small to medium enterprises are the ones that don't get that love. So if we can help people there, then that's while we're in the game. sure, we can scale up to help an enterprise. We can also go down to help the consumer, but overall, the platform is designed for large-scale migrations for the small and medium enterprises. Basically, think of any. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Finish up.
No,
Sorry.
no, you go. No, you're fine.
So you're still supporting all of the S3 compliant storage that you were before, like Backblaze, Wasabi, and AWS, all that stuff. One of the things you mentioned before was you started life sort of as an object migration platform, object storage migration platform. When we talk about on-premises to cloud, is it primarily S3 compatible on-premises storage, or are you looking at if it's object-based, you can move it?
Basically, yeah, if it's object-based, we can move it.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason why we didn't continue pushing our object storage migrations is because it was a race to the bottom. So there's a lot of people out there at the moment migrating customers between object storage, but we're in a business here, and if you race into the bottom, there's not actually a sustainable business, and it's not good for anyone. So we kind of found there was a really big hole in the market for the enterprise side of things, and that's where we're kind of stepping in now, is to kind of alleviate that problem space. But we do get a lot of people coming to us and wanting to migrate between object storage. I mean, especially S3 to Wasabi, it's a pretty big thing at the moment. Like Wasabi, $6 a terabyte, and there's no egress fees.
Right.
I mean, that's a pretty good deal. So you can't really complain about that.
No. What about on-premises file? Are you solely object, or can you move file to something else as well?
We can definitely move file as well. So I guess we support Azure files. That's obviously kind of in that kind of same space we're talking about. But when it comes to on-premise file servers, we support SFTP, Samba, and NFS. So there's actually a few ways you can get your files off. We recommend SFTP. It's more robust. It's definitely secure, and it's just a better solution all around to get data off. You get that control, and it's as simple as installing a SFTP client that you can choose, basically, and you get that full control to get your data up. But the problem when it comes, the biggest bottleneck that we have when it comes to on-prem to cloud migrations is the company's upload link. That's it. So there's one thing that people need to keep in mind when they're migrating from the cloud to the cloud.
So if I'm running a file server on-prem that's SMB or NFS, you're saying that you prefer SFTP as an option. Is it easy for most people to enable some sort of SFTP option on their existing file server to let you do that?
Yeah, definitely. We do have a solution with a SFTP server software that we would recommend people install, because basically we just have the SFTP client side of things and we connect into the server. But what we recommend is basically, I think it's I can't remember the software off the top of my head, but we recommend that one. It's light, it's simple, and it's secure. We've actually got a good relationship with them. And basically there you install it and away you go. I do understand there could be some issues with administration and installing software. So that's why we also install SMB and NFS. And with SMB, you can actually pipe it through an SSH tunnel. We do support that as well. So you do have that additional security if you want. But as we know, it's not the most robust protocol, moving large amounts of data across platforms.
Right. Got it. Okay, cool.
So some of the features that we have within Movebot that I guess our main key ones that everyone loves is that you can increase performance by adding additional working nodes. So I guess one thing to talk about with us is that every transfer itself, so if it's a user, if it's a shared drive, every transfer within a migration gets its own compute server. So other solutions out there, you basically share a resource. So you pump in all your users, and then all those users will kind of be prioritized, and then they'll just share the same compute server and just work through it. Whereas with us, every single migration gets its own compute server, and you can add more compute to that migration to improve its performance. Now that's great and all, but every solution is different as well, as in platform. Enterprise systems, they rate limit. So if you're going to use too many worker nodes, you're going to probably hit a lot of issues because you're going to smash out the rate limiting straight off the bat. Object storage, on the other hand, you could load it up with 50 workers, and you could probably move 50 terabytes in a day, kind of thing. It's pretty quick in what you can do, but it just depends on your source and destination platforms. We can touch more on the infrastructure in a bit, but basically, yeah, you can improve performance, and that's how we moved 15 terabytes in I think 48 hours for that customer by just smashing it with worker nodes, and we just got the data there as they needed. The platform is completely self-service, so anyone could sign up today, configure their storage, and kick off their migration. It's that easy. You don't even need to talk to us if you don't want to. The whole solution is being built around simplicity and the ability that anyone can use it. As I alluded to before, a teacher could use it, or someone who's less technical in an office could pick it up. And in the end, we're here to help guide as well. So if they do have questions, we can support them if required. But overall, the solution is pretty robust and straightforward.
What's when you say anybody can use it? What are they actually? What are they looking at? Like, what's the interface? Is it some web interface? Is it something local? Is it something native to how does that work?
It's a web interface. So basically, you just go to the website, you create an account, and before you know it, you've got the option to you can connect your storage via OAuth, both the source and destination, and then you kind of work through that. It's basically connect the source and destination and kick it off. That's basically it. And because we support OAuth, it simplifies the whole process for everyone. There's no users and passwords. It's secure because of that too. We don't hold any credentials. It's all token based. Unless you're using S3 side of things, that's a bit different. But overall, it's a pretty robust side of things.
Got it. Thanks.
And then, as we've kind of spoken about before, file versioning and permission support. So we support all the permissions, whether it's shared drives or shared folders or users or whatever it might be. And at the same time, we also support the versions. And versions, you can either bring all of them, you can bring the last 10. We understand that for compliance reasons, it's important to bring your file versions. One thing that a lot of our service providers enjoy about our solution too is that there's actually discovery pre-flight scan. So what you can do without even spending $1 or spending anything or putting that much time to it, you connect your source and then you scan. And then it will show you your content structure, how much data you have, how many files you have, any issues we might encounter, a potential quote, how long the scan took. It just gives you all that granularity so that you can get that full visibility on your actual source and where you're moving from. And then, we've kind of talked about the traditional file server support, and then there's also the Delta sync side of things. So Deltas are very important because when you're moving, let's say, 20 terabytes of data, you can't expect it to all move across and everyone pick up your software the next day or the new destination straight away. So what we recommend people do is as soon as they know they're going to migrate their data, do the mass migration straight away. Just get it done. Get that 20 terabytes to your destination. Don't even worry about the rest of it. Then closer to the date, start doing your Delta migration. So that's where we only move that modified files. So we basically check the mod time of files on the source and destination. And then basically from there, we'll move any modified files or new files to the destination. And that way as your people are working on the new platform, the modified data is going to start arriving there. So that way on the day they're ready to go, they can kick it off and boom, new platform is ready. I guess the key as well of that is that a Delta uses less data, so it's going to be a lot cheaper than having to constantly move the whole lot, and it's faster because you're not moving all your data again, right? You're only moving a few files, and it's quite funny, right? Like people might have 20 terabytes, but on a yearly basis, they might only touch 100 megs of it. People don't like deleting data, which is understandable with compliance, but also people are scared to kind of do clean house as well. So we see that a lot actually when we are very affordable when it comes to these migrations, but as soon as you give a customer a quote, they then go away and they actually find time to clean their data up, and they come back and they get a bit of a discount on their data because they've just removed a lot of it. So it is a good opportunity to.
That's so bad after all.
Exactly. Like we do recommend that. I mean, we don't really deal with the human aspect of the migration, so we don't really deal with the people and the emails that go out and that kind of thing. We kind of leave that to the service providers, but we do recommend that people take this opportunity to actually look at their data, look at what they need, look at their permissions, look at how it's structured, and then when they go to the new platform, understand if they still need it that way or if it's time to have a clean slate. Because I'm sure we all know of a company or a time when you kind of go through the people's list and you go, oh, I'm sure that person left this company 3 years ago. You kind of have things like that still sitting there. Like, I hope people don't encounter, but there's a high chance we've seen it all before. So it's kind of an opportunity to clean shop. And also, too, when you're moving between the likes of, let's say, Google Drive to SharePoint, they're somewhat different in how they operate. So where Google Drive has got the shared drives and the users and whatnot, SharePoint's a very a company-centric kind of organization, or Ignite's another good option here, where Ignite, the company kind of owns the data, Whereas the likes of Google and Dropbox, the users somewhat own the data, and permissions is how they make it accessible. Unless it's in a team drive, then that's owned by the company. But when you're going from the likes of Google Drive to Ignite, it's a completely different ballgame. The data is structured differently. Ignite is truly a file server in the cloud, whereas Google and Dropbox and whatnot are very flat structured in regards to everyone kind of owns the data and shares it around.
So we got 5 or 10 minutes left here. I know that you've got some use case sort of stuff and demo-like stuff we can talk through. Let's do a couple of those and we can get down to the brass tacks here.
Yeah, sure. So I'll quickly skip through these last slides, but so we've got some automatic error handling, which a lot of people love. Basically, SharePoint and Ignite don't allow certain characters. Google, for some reason, lets you have duplicate files of the same name in the same folders, which creates issues. There's also Google Docs. So we can basically convert those and sanitize those as required. Reporting and logging, as I kind of spoke about before, we kind of give you full reports and granularity on the APIs or what your content looks like. Infrastructure, one thing to touch on this from a security point of view is basically the infrastructure doesn't exist until you push start. So with us, when you push start, we're spinning up your own compute servers that have never existed before. They then do the migration, and then they just get deleted and removed from the face of the earth. So none of your data is kept with us. Nothing is held. It's basically does the transfer and poof, it's gone. That's how we operate. So next time you run a new migration, you get a completely new worker node that's never seen you before. So that's basically how we operate, and because there's no shared resources. So the product, so I'll just kind of run through the product here, just to kind of go through that. So it's kind of like a bit of a dashboard. So we kind of have two options. We've got the migrations, and then we have the project manager itself. So the migrations dashboard is predominantly used for S3 migrations or object storage, or just the old consumer individual trying to migrate. Projects are where the real meters for us, and this is where companies would use us. So you can have multiple companies or waves or phases of your migration and separate into projects. So if you've got 40,000 people, you're not going to move them all at the same time. That might be a year-long thing. So you might move 2,000 this month and so on. But so basically, this is just a bit of an insight into the product. You can see here that we've kind of delved a Google Drive to Dropbox migration. Connecting the source, as I've kind of alluded to previously, is it's pretty straightforward. It's all OAuth. So here we're connecting to Box. As a team admin, just link it up. Destination is much the same. The user discovery. So you can actually use our auto discovery features. So we'll take the prefix of the email address or of the username. And if they match on the source and destination, we'll automatically map the users. So that way you're not sitting there trying to individually map them. We support CSV files, and we also support manual user drive mapping. So you can just tick some boxes and add the mappings manually. We've also got the likes of permissions and metadata and file types, so you can actually choose. So here's some permissions and metadata that we can bring at the moment. So mod time is some metadata that we support. And then file types, I haven't actually got a screenshot for that one, but you can actually exclude certain file types or include specific file types. That way you're making sure that you only have the files that you need. So a lot of companies might have a lot of spam files that are maybe videos that they don't want to migrate because it costs money for no reason. So they'll probably maybe exclude those from the initial migration just to get the majority of the actual important files across. And this is an example of an object storage configuration. It's pretty straightforward, right? Like those that are working in the object storage space should be used to this. I guess just touching on the pricing, was there any questions on the product itself, or is time kind of cutting loose?
We're
getting low on time, but yeah, I don't have questions. We'll probably have more questions for a later event, but let's I think people would be really interested to hear about pricing.
Yeah, so pricing. So, people out there, I mean, they're charging $1 per gig, which is ridiculous. And then they charge for the professional service on top of that and the support, and it just gets a bit carried away. So our pricing's simple, straightforward. We don't charge based on users. We charge based on data transfer. As you can see, we're a lot less than $1 per gig. And if you have over 20 terabytes, we can even go lower. Object storage on its own is also quite affordable. And if depending on where you're moving from and how much data you have, we can actually remove your egress fees. So you're not paying Amazon egress fees. We can take on those costs and kind of move from there. So it really makes saving your own money or moving really, really affordable.
Quick question. It looks like this is pretty much self-service, but what if people do need help? Do you have professional services available as well?
We have partners that we recommend people onto. It depends on the solution, how big the migration is. We're definitely happy to help however we can, but when it comes to the nitty gritty and getting too delved in depth, we try and take a step back and kind of give it to the experts. We're no expert in SharePoint and how the behavior works. We're no expert in Dropbox and how that works. We do have a lot of experience with it, and we do know how they operate, so we can give our best practices across. But overall, we try and recommend to partners because that's their bread and butter.
Well, and there's the technical nuts and bolts of how does the file exist in this platform versus this platform, and you guys have that dialed in. But then there's the like organizational level consulting. What should we do? Should we organize this stuff? What should our SharePoint taxonomy be like? And that's probably best left to consultants that focus on those things.
Oh, definitely. It's a whole different ball game out there. I mean, people get certifications on those things for a reason. It's just we put our hands up and say, hey, we can get you there, but the rest is you need someone else, basically, yeah. But one more thing on pricing is that there's no monthly subscriptions. You pay as you go. So a lot of there's other solutions out there where you have to pay a monthly subscription, which is just flawed because you migrate once. So why are you paying on it every year, right? So with us, you just pay as you go. You pay for the data, and that's that.
That certainly makes more sense.
Definitely.
Yeah, it does. I agree with you. I wouldn't understand why somebody would try to do a monthly subscription for something like this unless there's something happening where you're maintaining both sides of something for a while and you're constantly doing delta things. But beyond that, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I guess one example, like we have customers that use us for replication too, because we can actually enable a replication between S3 storage. We don't say that we do it, but we can actually do it. We have the functionality. And because a lot of people don't support the combination of object and enterprise storage, like Box or S3, we have that kind of variability where people can back up their Box to S3, or they can replicate from S3 to Wasabi. But we'd actually say we'd recommend you replicate from Wasabi to S3 because the egress fees and it's cheaper to do. But yeah, so we do the functionality too. But even then, we only charge for the data they push. There's no monthly fee. If you replicate 20 gigs that month, then you get charged for 20 gigs. You replicate 30 terabytes that month, you get charged for 30 terabytes. That's how we operate. And then
cool.
here's some to locate us.
So if somebody's watching the briefing and wants to learn a little bit more, where should they go look next?
So I guess have a spin at, have a look at our website, get familiar with kind of the more features, things I haven't covered here. Our knowledge base, learning how to connect storage or actually do some migrations. And if in doubt, just send us an email. We'll probably get back to you in the next 24 hours. We're pretty quick, and as I alluded to, we are New Zealanders, so we're a good breed.
I can attest to that. It's always great chatting with you, and I appreciate you coming on the show to talk about this. Like I said, it's a fun conversation for me because it's something I'm thinking about right now personally, and I sympathize with a lot of these challenges. So it's an important thing that you built. Many companies are staring down this problem, and so hopefully this is helpful to some folks. Thank you for coming on and doing this. Scott, thank you for being on the show, as always. If you want to find more Briefing Breakdown shows, subscribe to the ActualTech Media YouTube channel, or check us out at actualtechmedia.com. We also do some other shows, and we'd love to have you join us on those as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.